Hey there Dark and Darker fans, and welcome back to the channel. Today is September 26th, and we just got hit with early access patch number 1. We've been waiting all day for it, so we're excited to finally see it. With early access patch number 1, we're going to see early access wipe number 2. You're going to lose all your gear and your gold, but you're not going to lose your characters. They're going to maintain their levels and their names, so that's a nice change that we're going to see this time. But for now, let's jump straight into the patch notes and see what's going on. In this first little bit, there's only one or two that are actually sort of consequential, so we'll talk about those and then move on pretty quick to the meat of the patch. Fix an issue where Reactive Shield and Dark Reflection could not be activated, so hopefully that will make playing a Warlock and the Wizard a bit nicer, and I think those are actually like huge changes to the perks and makes them viable again. Fix an issue where Dark Swarm's next area could be designated as the outskirts of the map. This is referring to the situation where sometimes the circle would be half off the map and it would severely reduce the playing area on the final couple circles. So hopefully everything is back on the map and we get an ample amount of space for those last couple of circles again. Moving on to the meat of the updates. Sounds have been added to several items, great. Water sounds now play, nice. 7 new emotes, nice. A feature has been added to receive server maintenance notices in-game. That's great. Up until now, they've only been on Discord. They should be in-game because not everyone is on Discord. Additional protection added against possible security vulnerabilities, always good to see that. Barbarian and fighter face shapes have been modified. Bard reworked to make the class more gear and attribute dependent. Alright, so this I think is the only line that really specifically talks about Bard. Hopefully this sort of fixes Bard again. I think you're still going to be able to play 10 spell Bard, but this time I think what they're getting at here is your music is going to respond to some of your attributes, sort of like how magic is impacted by will. I'm hoping there are certain music sheets that will respond more to attributes. I'm thinking of Tranquility in particular. Added new attributes, manual dexterity and persuasion. I'm guessing persuasion is what Bard is going to be using. Manual dexterity, it honestly almost sounds like it's going to replace resourcefulness, maybe? But we'll have to see about that. Maybe persuasion is actually replacing will. I don't know if these are added or if, like, as they're brand new, or if they're replacing. Iron Mace isn't always clear about that, so we'll see once we get in game. Warlock's Curse of Pain now has a slightly more generous aim. Very nice change. It seemed like it was way too pinpoint accurate. I think this is going to be a huge improvement to playing Warlock. 2 new perks have been added to Warlocks, Curse Mastery and Vampirism. I'm surprised only 2 perks are being added, but that is definitely better than none. 8 new spells have been added to Warlocks: Bolt of Darkness, Evil Eye, Bloodstained Blade, Flamewalker, Life Drain, Ray of Darkness, Eldritch Shield, Summon Hydra. Alright, so we see the summon there. We were kind of teased that the Warlock would be able to take control of minions in the dungeons, so like the skeletons that are already there, you might be able to take control of them. That's possibly what Evil Eye is, maybe? It's hard to say based on some of the names here. Like Bolt of Darkness seems like that's probably some sort of fireball type spell where you throw a bolt, but some of these other ones are maybe not quite so clear. However, it does seem like there's going to be a few different styles of Warlock here. One where you use like a sword more often, like Bloodstained Blade might affect, and something like Flamewalker might be good for. Whereas there's probably a very caster-oriented version of Warlock with some of these names. I think we were thinking there would be a summoner Warlock, and there might be, but I don't see a ton of support for summoning here. We'll see when we get in game. Rogue will no longer break stealth when bumped into if the pickpocket perk is equipped. That's kind of a huge change. If you are the pickpocket rogue, you can now get nice and close to someone and you don't have to worry about them bumping into you and exposing you. Rogue's hide cooldown changed, reduced by 5 seconds. That's always nice. Cutthroat cooldown changed from 60 to 28. I think this is a fantastic move by Iron Mace because I do believe that the rock, paper, scissors balancing is a portion of this game, and rogues are supposed to kill wizards, and wizards are supposed to kill fighters, and fighters are supposed to kill rogues. Cutthroat is how rogues can really shut down the wizard archetype, so it's gonna, you know, really shut down warlocks and wizards in a hurry, maybe even clerics. To have this ability up twice as often is really going to help with that, so I think this is a great change. Ranger's quick shot now fires a different amount of arrows based on the bow type. Yahoo! This is one of the suggestions that have been tossed around. Although if longbow still gets to shoot 2 arrows, I'm kind of going to be a little sad about that still, because, you know, instead of dying outright, you'll just be at 33% life now. You'll die maybe a little less slow, but it's still a very powerful ability. The cooldown has been increased by 10 seconds. That in itself is probably more impactful, and I think that's a really good decision. Multi-shot cooldown changed from 35 to 28. Yeah, making them all roughly the same cooldown length makes sense. Ranger's penetrating shot cooldown changed from 28 to 24. Maybe they just want to see this get used a bit more often, so make it usable a bit more often. Hunting Trap only deals 1 damage per second at all rarities. Hunting Trap, I don't even think should deal damage per second with how good it is, but at least it's only 1, and hopefully it doesn't scale off of the Ranger's stats. Ranger really coming out kind of unscathed overall, frankly, if these are the only changes to them. We'll have to see. This next point, all weapon damage has been rebalanced, will probably have more impact on Ranger than some of these changes. Like, clearly the quick shot being, I'm guessing, nerfed a bit is going to be a thing, an impactful thing, but depends on how much damage they've given to bows here. I'm hoping it was reduced in comparison to other types of weaponry, but we'll have to see once we get in game. Most armors have been updated and give additional bonuses in addition to just armor rating. Additional bonuses in addition to just armor rating. I'm not 100% sure what that means, because anything that wasn't a white or gray armor did already give additional bonuses in addition to armor rating, so does that mean even the white and gray ones also do now? Or is this something different entirely? We'll find out once we can get in game. Armor rating curve slightly reduced at the upper end due to the higher overall armor values, fair enough. Value range of most random modifiers has been rebalanced. We'll find out how that works. Battle Axe now has a slightly longer range. That is terrifying. Torches and lanterns give a slight movement speed advantage rather than a penalty, and that's the way it should have been from the beginning. The ability to illuminate your path should make you move faster. That makes sense at the trade-off of being more visible to your opponents. I think that is a nice change most folks will celebrate. Rarity-specific skins have been added for the drum and lyre, sure. Coin bag that holds up to 500 gold coins has been added, must be crafted. I think that is going to be celebrated by most folks. Coin chest that holds up to 3,000 gold coins has been added, must be found from the treasure hoards. Sweet. 4 new artifacts have been added: Echo of Scream, Soul Reaper, Death Bloom, Stinky Stick. Always nice to see more of that stuff enter the game, and I'm sure we'll have a fun time discovering exactly what those do. Folks, cloth simulation has been slightly optimized. There were some folks who claimed that cloaks would make their computers lag, so hopefully this fixes it for them. Item skins are now displayed properly on the paper doll. Lockpick drop rate has been increased. That's kind of a huge one, honestly, at least for me, because there's just too many chests far too often that you just could not open, and there doesn't really seem to be a good reason for people to not open them. I mean, they're there, so you should be able to open them, and just having to walk away from them, being able to do nothing, just felt bad. So hopefully we get to open a few more chests more often. The names of level modules are now displayed on the minimap. I think that's perfectly good for a quality of life adjustment. Additional layouts added to the normal Goblin Caves map pool. That's a nice one. I was kind of getting tired of the Goblin Caves being the same map over and over. Now it's going to add a bit more replayability to it. High Roller Crypts maps increased from a 4x4 to a 5x5 size. That actually is increasing the entire area by a large amount. So the High Roller Crypts are now much larger. I wonder if they've altered the timing of the circles and the swarm coming. But I think making it larger is kind of cool, so that you're not always running into people right away. It gives you some time to have your own little corner of the map, and you get to fight the AI and just do your own thing for a little bit before you get right into fighting. The normal and High Roller Crypt now share the same map pool. That makes total sense. Added an extra Dark Swarms phase, so players don't need to traverse as much distance at once. I wonder how that's going to change the timing of them. So I think the phases will probably happen more often. Doesn't say they extended the time of the maps, so you're probably going to be moving as often as you normally did, but it's going to remind you to do it more often. So I think that'll be nice for most players. Updated environments for approximately 40 level modules. Level object density for ruins and crypts has been increased. Object density. So is there just going to be more stuff around, like more loot? Portal has been added to the outskirts of ruins. A portal to where? What's the outskirts of ruins? Mysterious. The rusty iron door has been re-added to the high roller pool. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing for the game, but you want to have rewards in the game for doing things, so that's a tough balance. They've added it back for now. New royal coffins have been added to the dungeons. Previous gold chests have returned to the dungeons as marvelous chests. Additional attack patterns added to the nightmare version of the monsters in the Goblin Cave. Skeletal champion animations have been updated. He was always a bit clunky, so hopefully that means he's actually a bit more, we're able to actually fight him. His huge sweeping strikes actually disincentivized a lot of people from fighting him, so I'm hoping this means that more people can approach him, especially as a solo, because Skeletal Champion is on Goblin Caves. He spawns in that one room where the water is. Sometimes it's the Skeletal Mage. The Skeletal Mage, most people I think can solo them at this point, but not the Champion. You have to cheese him pretty much. Hopefully we can actually take him on now. Royal Guard animations has been updated. Ruins Golem sub-boss has been added. That's kind of cool. They had the worm in the middle and the cockatrice. Was there a reason to add another sub-boss? It'll make the map more interesting for sure. Merchants updated to sell a much larger amount and variety of items. That was a quality of life request that a lot of people were calling for. Mostly, you should be able to go into the weaponsmith and buy the weapon that you want, so that you can have a run go the way you want. And you don't have to hopefully get something in trade chat, or hope that the weapon merchant has it, or hope you get a drop in the dungeon. Nice change. Greater luck potion has been added to the fortune teller. New craft and mining items added. Equipment slot filter has been added to trading post. Trading post now displays a timestamp. Several other changes not listed were included. Okay, fair enough. Overall, I think this actually isn't in itself changing the game too much. And it's going to come down to what happened here. All weapon damage has been rebalanced. Until the game's actually up and going, I don't think we're going to know what this means. I'm guessing that they gave everything the dagger treatment that was doled out last hotfix. They reduced the damage on daggers by a fair amount. I think most daggers just did like 4 or 5 less damage. So if they just did that all around to all weapons, this is going to slow the game down a fair amount. Most combat is probably going to last a few seconds longer, or you'll have more of an opportunity to run away because people can't finish you as quick. But we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out until we get in dungeon. Notably absent from these updates and changes is the druid class. It looks like we're not getting that quite yet. However, in the meantime, I think with the bard rework, we'll have something to experiment with there. Like maybe the spells that used to just be good as a bard, or the music that used to just be good, will now scale with this persuasion attribute. and then something like Tranquility will actually be good again. And if that's the case, I think more people will be willing to give Bard another chance. And then with the Warlock being, this looks like, you know, fully fleshed out. This is everything the Warlock's going to get for now. People will have something to try here as well. So there's still a fair amount of stuff in here. And again, all weapon damage has been rebalanced, I think being the big thing here, depending on how it was implemented. And I do wish they gave us a bit more information here in the patch notes, but that's all right for now. I'm excited to get into the dungeon and see how this all boils down. This is sort of the next step for Dark and Darker, and there's a lot of competition now. What's the other one called? Project Crawl has just gone into another test today, and there's a few more games that are essentially clone copies of Dark and Darker, and changes like this can really affect players, and some will say this is great, some will say this is garbage, and they're going to go to a different game. We'll see how this really fleshes out, and we'll look at the player count, I think, to get a good idea of how that is going for Iron Mace, because the player count has been falling lately. Usually for games like Escape from Tarkov, player count gets a huge bump during a wipe. This is really kind of the first real wipe that Dark and Darker's had. Early access wipe number 1 was Dark and Darker had been unplayable for I think like months at that point. So of course, as soon as it comes up, everyone's in, and there's tons of folks playing. So we'll see how many come back now for the first kind of real wipe. That said, excited to get back into the dungeon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for any comments, likes, and subscriptions. I appreciate your engagement with the channel. We'll see you in the dungeon.